What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 10 of the Consider the Ravens podcast. I'm trying something new this time. If you're on Spotify, you'll notice that you have audio only. So I've started on Spotify doing audio only, and video only is on YouTube. Obviously, you can hear it too, but video exclusively on YouTube. So if you want to see it, go to YouTube. But if you don't mind just listening to it, then it is there on Spotify. Thank you guys for coming back, listening and following and subscribing. Speaking of, if you have not subscribed or followed, hit those respective buttons and hit the bell icon and make sure all notifications are turned on so that you know when I post another episode. I love you guys so very much. We've got a little bit to talk about. Let's dive right into it. So, this past weekend, I competed in what was called the Rocket City Blast Disc Golf Tournament. It's a 3-day event in Huntsville, Alabama, where each day we played at a different course, and then your combined score is what determines your placing in said tournament. I placed fourth in my first official big tournament, right? I've played a few. Now, last Thursday. So first of all, just let's back it up a little bit. First of all, I registered for this tournament a little while back, maybe more than a month ago, maybe a month and a half, I'm not sure. But I registered for it, and it was quite a bit of money. But I really wanted to compete. I really wanted to see kind of where I stood in my division as far as people outside of my small town. And it was a fun time. So I didn't really plan on it, but the Thursday of last week was what they call a flex start, which is a one-round small tournament where there's no rewards for winning or anything. It's just a tournament to get like a rating or something like that for your overall PDGA rating. That being said, I was invited by my friends, Austin and Hope and Peter and them. They were going to go and throw because it was on one of the courses that was for the big tournament. So they were like, well, we need to practice that course anyway, so we might as well compete in the smaller tournament just to get a little bit more practice, and it's in a competitive environment, right? Allows us to get more experience in. So we did that, and I ended up placing first place in my division with a +2 score, which isn't the greatest score, but it's definitely not the worst on that course. But again, I am in MA4, which is the lowest of the amateur divisions, but that is just because I'm just starting. And if you go to my other YouTube, I post some disc golf content there. All of those links should be in the description below. So just understand that I will be getting better. So that Thursday, I actually placed first. And then the Friday was the very first day of the big competition. And our first course was called Southside in Huntsville at the Southside Park. And it is one of the technical courses that kind of play to my backhand strengths. I don't have much of a forehand. I don't have a lot of control with it. And it is quite painful because my form is even worse than my backhand form. So, got a lot of work to do. I ended up throwing even on that course, and that was the second time I ever played on that course. And I met some really cool people. With these big tournaments, you don't get to choose who's on your card and who you play with. They kind of randomly choose that for you. The PDGA people do. So I met 3 people that were really cool: Trevor, Richie, and Kevin. And they played well. Richie actually ended up earning the third place in our division for the whole tournament. So podium is first, second, third, right? So he got podium with that. It was really cool. Him and I both shot even that day, and yeah, it was a fun course. My second course was New Hope, and obviously that's at New Hope Park, and it's right on the edge of Huntsville. But it's a pretty wide open course for the most part, and it's not that big of a course. And I'd played there a couple times before, and I played really well when we went and practiced like the week before the tournament. But that day, I was just not on it. Was kind of really trash. I ended up throwing 4 over, which put me tying for 8th place in the tournament, I believe. Or 6th place maybe. Was very concerned after that one. And then we went and played another round at Braun Springs. And that was a good time. Was super tired though. And then that night, I actually went over to my buddy Austin and Hope's house with one of my friends, Peter, who I graduated high school with. And we hung out, had a good time, and we ate food. And then we went to like a thrift mart. I forget what they called it. It was for the tournament. They had discs and stuff for sale, and they had 2 people there, 2 competing touring pros, Cadence and Bo. I can't remember Cadence Burr. I could be wrong about that last name. I think it's Bo McLaughlin. Super cool people, super nice and kind. They had a booth set up there where you could pay $5 to throw three discs into a net, and there's a device on the disc that would clock your speed. And for the divisions, they kind of put their names down for whoever threw the fastest. All proceeds went to charity, which is really cool. I think I found out that I threw really slow backhand, and which, I mean, I know I don't throw fast. I'm not saying that I throw fast, but it clocked me at about 51, 50, and 49. Those were my 3 throws in order. But I was throwing super close to the net because I'd never thrown into a net before, so I really didn't have the confidence to throw away from the net. So my last throw, I actually was touching the net as I was releasing the disc, which I know that standing so close to the net probably didn't let the disc get to the speed that it would if I was standing a couple feet back. So I didn't get the most accurate measurements, but I know it's not much faster, right? Like maybe 53, 54, maybe. And then Cadence was like, I can't throw forehand. I'm throwing really slow. I was like, I'm not throwing anything forehand either. Trust me, you're probably better at that than me. Whatever. So she goes and throws. I think she clocks it out at like 46. And I was like, I'm not getting anywhere near that. I didn't think I was doing anything like that. And then Bo was like, you know what? I'll let you throw a disc for free if you really want to find out, because I want to see. I was like, okay, we'll see. I get up there and I just, I do my follow through and I chunk the disc into the net, and it was pretty good. They ended up clocking me at 52, which was faster than my backhands. And Bo just looks at Cadence and goes, "Oh, get wrecked." He threw 52, which is not good. My buddy Austin got up there and he was throwing 68 backhand, which is absolutely crazy. So I really need to fix my form. My form is absolutely terrible. I don't know how I'm doing as well as I am in the sport with how bad my form is. So I'll figure it out one of these days. So that was that Saturday night. Sunday morning, we get up and we go to. I stop by, get a little bit of breakfast, and then we go, and I find out that I have Kevin on my card again from the first round on Friday. Which reminds me, I also had Trevor on my card Saturday. So I had Trevor Friday and Saturday, and I had Kevin Friday and Sunday, which just means we had similar scores. After the first round, they put you with people that have similar scores in the tournament. So that means Richie stayed, which he did. Richie threw even for all 3 rounds, which got him to the podium. So obviously I didn't throw that well, because I was +4 after the second round. Anyway, so that's how I ended up getting fourth place. I ended up throwing +2 at Braun, and that was with one birdie, so it would have been +3 without it. I had some really bad tee shots. They were just, I was grip locking and pulling them. They were terrible. But I had really good upshots and recoveries, and that is what saved me from getting 5 or 6 over. Yeah, so finishing my first 3-day big tournament, 3-round Huntsville, Alabama tournament, Rocket City Blast, and I got fourth place. So the top 2 people, Austin, he's the one that got, my buddy, he got first place with being 14 under. How crazy is that? Second place, I believe, was 2 or 6 under, one of the two. And then third place, of course, even. And then I'm sitting over here +6. So I was 6 strokes behind third place, which was the very next one. I was 8 or 12 strokes behind second place and 20 strokes behind first place. That is absolutely crazy. Which he was only in my division because he doesn't have a rating yet. So when he does get his rating, he'll probably be throwing in MA3 or MA2 even. So next time I won't have to compete against those high-level people. Maybe I can get podium. That'd be pretty cool. Especially if I correct my form. If I work on my backhand and forehand form and get that improved before I compete in another tournament, I might just be, first place. You know what I mean? I just got to put into work. I'm pretty excited for it. Now, speaking of disc golf, one of my discs was super helpful, and I loved it so much, and I continue to love it, and I used it yesterday as well, and it helped me. It really helps me every time. It's a very super overstable, beautiful disc called the Aura Omen. Aura, Omen. It is a super overstable, either mid-range or it might be a fairway driver. But I don't really use it for distance because of how overstable it is. Now, I can forehand it with a super anhyzer and it'll kind of get some distance to it. But mostly it is an approach disc that I use to get around some trees and whatnot. And that is exactly what I did yesterday. I got behind this big old massive tree with a lot of low-hanging limbs that were just trying to grab at my disc. And I was way too close to even step out and throw from there. So I took this super overstable Aura Omen from upperparkdiscgolf.com and I threw it at super hyzer and it just cut left hard. Exactly what I wanted it to. It cut left right in between the trees that I was trying to go for, and it put me within 30 feet of the basket. Great shot, and I couldn't have done it without that disc. So if you go into the description below and you click the link that says upperparkdiscgolf.com and use code Sterling15 on whatever you get, you will get 15% off of your entire order. Again, go to the link below, upperparkdiscgolf.com, and use code Sterling15, that's STERLING 15, and you will get 15% off of your entire order. You don't want to miss out on that. If you love disc golf like I do, they got some quality discs. I wouldn't get their bags. I advise against their bags. Yes, I know that I get a little bit of commission, but their bags are overpriced. Even on sale, they are overpriced. They're just not made as well as they look like they are. And I'm going to be honest about that. I had a bag and it ripped within a few months of owning it. So don't get their bags, but their discs are great. Their discs are absolutely beautiful, and their clothes are actually great quality as well. They got some really cool looking jerseys and T-shirts and hoodies and things like that. They've even got hats and beanies and whatnot. So don't miss out on that. Now, let's talk about reading. I know you're like, why the freak are we going to talk about reading? Because I've recently started to get back into reading. Now, I've been wanting to start getting back into reading for a long time because I used to love reading, but I read for the AR points, right? All the oldies know AR points. AR points were the bomb. All the nerds know. So I've been reading a mixture of leadership books, a mixture of self-help books, Christian books, like romantic books like Colleen Hoover, It Ends With Us, Ugly Love, things like that. It's just how it is. Colin Hoover, Ugly Love, and I'm gonna be reading Verity soon. Like those books are great. Now, some of those, some parts of the books are they're crude. You know what I mean? Like there are some written scenes in that book that are explicit. Not like super explicit, but like heavily suggestive, you know. But overall, I just love a good romance. Something that's gonna make me angry and sad at the same time. You know, those books are amazing. But I've also just now started getting into some super like science fiction books, like this one called The Two Space War. I just started it like last night. But I've never really read science fiction before, but I love science fiction shows and movies. So I wanted to get into this, and I house sat for this wonderful lady from church. Her name is Miss Chris, and I helped take care of her animals while she was gone, as well as her plants. And she loves sci-fi books, and she said that if I found any that I was interested in, that she would let me borrow them. And this was one of them, The Two Space War, and so far it is incredible. I've also picked up from her this one called Freedom's Landing. Pretty excited about those two books. My first two sci-fi books, official sci-fi books, that I will be actually reading. I want, I want to get into my goal for this year is to read 15 books. Last year I read 10 books. I am way behind my goal. Way behind. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to have read like 4 or 5 books by now. I think I've read 3, maybe even just 2. And that is not good because we are in the 5th month, almost the 6th month of the year. And I'm nowhere near even halfway, which is redonkulous. So if you have any book suggestions, no matter what it is, again, I love all kinds of genres, classics and stuff like that, self-help and romantic books and sci-fi, whatever. If you have any suggestions, like, or just want to tell me what your favorite book is, you let me know. Put it in the description below. If you're on Spotify, put it in the Q&A section, which should be attached to all of these episodes. So I just want to know what your suggestions are, and I will read your suggestions and tell you what I think about the books. Now, there's one book, if there is a book for me to suggest to you, is a book called Orbiting Jupiter. I cannot remember the name of the author, but it made me cry like a bubble blowing baby, and it made me angry. It's not even a romantic book. It's not about romance at all. Well, there's a little bit of romance, but like that's not the point of the book. It is just heart-wrenching, and it is incredible. Loved it to death. There's also one called Ready Player One. I haven't read the second one. The second one's sitting on my bookshelf right there, called Ready Player Two, obviously. Haven't read that one yet, but the first one has a movie. Movie is trash compared to the book. I need to slow down. I've been yapping. Ready Player One. Incredible book. The movie is almost nothing at all like the book. So if you've watched the movie and was like, meh, not for me, do not judge it. Please. I promise the book is 100 times better. And if you watch the movie and liked the movie, then you will absolutely love the book that much more. Again, because the book is just incredibly, just immensely better. Immensely better. So we all know there's been a lot going on. Seems like people have forgotten about Andrew Tate. No one raves about him much anymore. Now that he's out of house arrest and all that mess. All those false accusations with him doing human trafficking and whatnot. I've heard rumors of Soulja Boy talking about buying TikTok. We all seen the many clips of that government official trying to make it sound like the creator of TikTok was part of the Chinese government, even though he's from Singapore. That guy from government is kind of not there. You know what I mean? He is a little bit delulu. Just a little bit delulu. Now, I don't really like getting into politics that much, but that's just redonkulous. We've got people out here. Why on earth are we going through the worst housing pandemic, the worst inflation pandemic, and they are the worst employment pandemic, and they are worried about an app that you can post videos on? Are you kidding me? There's no way that they're actually focusing more on TikTok than they are about the awful housing market, the terrible inflation. I was watching a video of a hearing that they were having with Congress and all that, between Congress and the Biden administration. In the last 4 years, inflation has gone up 28%. When in the last 7 years before Biden, it had only gone up 5%. I'm shaking my desk. I don't know about you, but that sounds like it's directly correlated with presidency. And a lot of people I don't know what's going on. A lot of people like to say that the president has nothing to do with gas prices. So I want you to pay attention real quick. I want you to look at the gas prices from when Obama was in office. I want you to look at the prices from when Trump came into office after Obama. And then I want you to look at the gas prices when Biden came in after Trump left office. I want you to notice that when Obama was in office, it was the first time in my entire life, when I was in high school, being 16 years old, 16, 17, 18 years old, it was the first time in my life that I'd ever seen gas go above $3 a gallon. It got up to $3.16 a gallon, and I thought that was absolutely absurd. And it was like that for the entire time that he was in office. And then Trump comes in, and for those 4 years, gas averaged $1.75 a gallon. 8 years of Obama, more than $3 a gallon, give or take. Averaging about $3 a gallon. 8 years. 4 years of Trump coming in, and it averages $1.75 a gallon. Biden comes in and it shoots all the way to above $4 a gallon several times and is currently sitting at $3.13 a gallon, and that's the lowest I've seen it in the last couple of years. I mean, maybe for like a month or two over the last 12 months, I've seen it down to 286 for maybe a month or so. And then went right back up to $3, got up to 3.26. I got gas at a gas station the other day. It was 3.41. And today I seen it was 3.13. You tell me how that is not directly related to the president. Biden shut down the oil rigs and stuff. It is his fault that we're not getting the resources. He shut them down. He cut off all of our trades. He did that. And that choice is what caused our gas to jump up to what it is right now. So you tell me one more time that the president has nothing to do with the gas prices, and I will officially be convinced that you are delusional and you don't care about actual results. You just want people to say everything's okay. Our candidates are probably going to be Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And out of those two, let me specify, out of those two, our best option is Trump. I am not saying that because I'm conservative. I am. I'm conservative and I'm a Christian. But none of those, like, I'm not a conservative Christian. I am a Christian, period. And I am more conservative than I am liberal. Those two things are separate. I'm not voting for Trump because I'm Christian. I'm not voting for Trump because I'm conservative. I'm voting for Trump because he lowers the inflation, increases the employment the employment rate, lowers the unemployment rate, lowers the gas prices, lowers inflation, which typically lowers the prices of all of our daily living, like groceries and stuff, which then allows me to be able to live off of what employers are paying nowadays, which that also might go up. I don't know. That I feel like does have everything to do with just the owners, right? That has nothing to do with the president. I know. I'm just saying if things cost less, we can make more. Also, Trump did say, now I don't know if he can actually do this. I know that it should be done, and it should have been done a long time ago. This has to do with taxes. Taxes were created to pay for a war that has been over for a very, very, very long time. We are sending billions of dollars to other countries, but we need that money. We need that. Our country needs that. So why are we giving it away to them? I don't understand that. Trump kept the peace with all of the other world leaders. North Korea, Russia, Ukraine. He kept that peace. And then when Joe came in, war. What the freak? That's not peace. Joe is not keeping any sort of good. Joe has not done a single thing that has benefited us at all. Not even a little bit. And you can't convince me otherwise. But what Trump said he would do was make it a 5% tax flat rate. Meaning, instead of me making $14 an hour, which gross pay is about $1,100, and me only bringing home about $800, $700, $750, whatever. Instead of that happening because I'm getting $200 of taxes taken out, it would only be about $50, 5%. There would be not zero payroll tax, but a 5% flat tax rate, and that would so help us just exponentially help the working class. We idolize the entertainment industry, and we put them on a pedestal, and we pay them hundreds of millions of dollars to do the acting, to do the influencing, to do the ads. We pay them that much, but they're not what makes the world go round. Yeah, they're in entertainment, but they're for passing time. That's what they do. They help us pass time in a more entertaining way than this. Some people prefer that over reading. I'm okay with either. But that's what they do. Yet we're over here paying electricians or HVAC people, construction workers, uh, uh, restoration people. We're paying those people low, barely enough, if not enough, to survive on their own. I couldn't survive off of $14 an hour. Not in today. I live in a small town, a very small town. We don't have a mall. We have one AMC. Um, like we're a really small town, and the rent here averages $1,000 a month for a 1 bedroom apartment. That's how bad it is. And they're selling houses, rink-dink houses, for $250,000 to $300,000. $14 an hour does not cut it. So why are we paying the people that keep society running the bare minimum, but we're paying influencers and entertainment industry people hundreds of millions of dollars? Sorry for the silence. It's just something I get very passionate about because it doesn't really make sense to me. And I know that that's kind of weird coming from somebody who's literally creating content as a form of entertainment. But I'm just trying to take advantage of what I'm given, right? I know that the entertainment industry makes more money. And right now I'm not stable at all. I don't know if I talked about it in my last podcast. Um, but I lost my job last Tuesday because I was posting videos with the company logo. It was a corporate decision, I can't be too mad at my boss, so and I've got an interview at somewhere that I actually want to work, somewhere I know I'll enjoy. I didn't feel any passion where I was, so I'm not, I don't regret anything. I'm very happy that this happened because I just felt nothing, pointless where I was. Doing this, talking to you guys on here, playing video games and talking to y'all on my other YouTube, making disc golf videos and TikTok videos and stuff like that, promoting Christian brands like malta-apparel.com, code Sterling15 for 15% off. Promoting that kind of stuff and talking to you about how Jesus has brought me through the mundane into the possibilities of doing what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm passionate about. I love to do this. And I know that if I can just do it right and get people to see it, that it will pay off. I love you guys. And I just, look, this isn't for me. I want to be able to bless everyone around me. I'm not going to drive a super fancy car. I'm not going to live in a massive house. I'm not going to be iced out or with chains of gold or diamond or anything like that. I'm not going to be hanging out with supermodels and freaking half naked ladies. That's not how I roll. I'm going to be giving my friends and family the finances that they deserve and the finances that they need and the finances that I owe them for them bringing me through my hard times, because my friends time and time again have blessed me financially. Same with my family every time that I've needed it, or if not almost every time that I've needed it, because I've been there, and I want to be able to do that for them. I want to repay them with abundance. You know what I mean? I want to be overflowing. So that's why I'm doing this. And above all else, all I need is for you to know that Jesus died for you on the cross. You are saved by grace and nothing else, not by works, not by anything that you can do, but what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else for you to do. I don't know how many times I got to say it. There's nothing else for you to do. Jesus has already done it. He died on the cross. You now have forgiveness. All you got to do is accept it. You now have grace. All you have to do is accept it. Redemption is there, and it is free for you to reach out and grab it and be like, that's mine. I'm redeemed by Jesus Christ. Now let me go live in confidence in what the Holy Spirit has for me. Period. Point blank, that's it. And above all else, that's what I need you to know. I'm sitting at the feet of Jesus, and whatever impact this has is up to him. I love you guys. Please hit that subscribe button, like this video, hit that bell icon, and make sure all notifications are turned on. Go to the description below, click on all of the socials and stuff, and follow me on all of the socials. Check out the Christian merch at Multi-Dash Apparel, and check out check out the disc golf stuff. Use code Sterling15 at both of those places, and you'll get 15% off your entire order. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to episode 10 of the Consider the Ravens podcast, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.